Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Palmisano here, and time for some more CORNELL 77. I like doing these on Sundays. It just feels right to do the Dead on Sundays. Anyhow, first order of business. Chaz got the guitar. He got the PRS SE Hollow Body 2. So thank you all to everyone who joined the mailing list and entered to win that guitar for free and watched the 100,000 subscriber concert. If you haven't watched that, I will put a link in the description so you can actually see me rock out with the band and, have some fun. First gig, quote unquote, that's happened since quarantine. It was a lot of fun, and I thank you all so much for doing that. We're going to do it again at every milestone, so the next one is 200. So we're at like 120-ish something today. So subscribe, tell your friends, drop links in the comments for where we should go next, right? And those videos will hopefully attract more people like you so we can keep this steady rolling. So thank you all so much. And all right, estimated profit. Barton Hall, CORNELL 5877. So I know this tune. Have I learned it note for note? No, right? Have I listened to this version? No. But do I know the tune estimated profit? Of course. It is, in my opinion, right up there with Pink Floyd, Money, and anything else that you can think of in 7 as far as groove. Making a groove work in an odd time, especially 7, is really, really difficult for most of us. For me, in particular, because I feel everything either in 3 or 4. So I tend to always subdivide back down to something that's equally divided by 3 or equally divided by 4 or 2, however you want to look at it, right? And so it's hard to make lines, grooves, hooks work over the bar lines where you have 7, where 1 is 3 and 1 is 4. This is an amazing example of a tune that does this. So this is a Weir Barlow tune, right? I believe it's the first Weir Barlow tune I've done on here. And they're weird. They're wild. They're wacky. But there's a couple straight up smokers, and this is one of them. So here we go. Without further ado, estimated profit. The Grateful Dead, live at Barton Hall, CORNELL University, Ithaca, New York, 5877. Again, Phil is the star, in my opinion, of this whole concert series. This whole CORNELL 77. I feel like while everybody in the band really, really shines, every single track I listen to from this album, I'm like, damn, it's good when Phil's driving the bus, man. He is on it. So much space, such a great sound. All right, so let's go back, and for those of you that haven't learned this tune, or you want to kind of break it down a little bit, let's go back to the beginning and let's count it. It starts with a count in from Bobby. 7. Listen. Right? So it's a 7. And the tune is in F sharp. F sharp minor. So we'll count this together. so good. This line that, so Phil's kind of doing it a little bit, that, right? That little walk, you know, root, flat 3, 4, 5. And so Jerry's got that, I guess it's that mutron thing. But this hook carries across that bar line. It's almost like the whole entire phrase is 14. So you can look at it, of course, 7 and 7. But you want to, that whole thing is 14. So you could count it 8 and 6, you know, it's but it's like 14 is that thing. And so finding a riff that works in 14 is really the challenge here, right? So you got like, that is a big time groove. It just that mixed with Phil all over the place just makes, it's just, like I said, it's right up there with Pink Floyd Money for a groove in 7. You know, now what this is you got root, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 3 root, flat 7 fifth, catch the beat over at the root, and then 2 4s, flat 3 root. So flat 3, 4, 5, flat 3 root, flat 7. Like, that's hard to do when you're talking. That is such a hot groove. All right, now let's keep it going and let's talk about what Bobby does as it moves on.
Don't worry about it, no. Been so long I felt this way, but I'm in love. Rainbows in down that highway where ocean is blue.
All right, so again, one verse is 14. The first 7, you're just letting it ring out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then for the second 7, the second half of each verse, you're doing a reggae offbeat groove in 7, right? And so, you know, it's that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's like your strikes are on the 2, the 4, the 6, and the 7. So like, and or a variation kind of that. But it's important to realize that this is like a reggae feel for the second 7 in the 14. Listen to a couple of these verses and count it out, and you'll hear it.
Felt this way, but I'm in love. Rainbows in down that highway where ocean is blue. Right time coming, voices say and they tell me, don't worry about it. No, no, don't worry.
Phil, man.
And I'm in no hurry. No, 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 I know where I go. California, preaching on the burning shore. California, I've been knocking on the golden door. Like an angel, standing in a shaft of light, rising up to paradise. No, I'm gonna shine. My time coming.
Okay, so then it goes to G mixolydian. So what do I mean by G mixolydian? It goes to a G, to C, and an F, right? So that's really the key of C. So, but your focus is on G. So that's G mixolydian. Now, it stays in 7, and the groove has again, it's subdivided into 2 parts, right? It's 14. The first 7 is, right? So, let me count this to make sure I'm not saying something that's incorrect.
I've been knocking on the golden door like an angel standing in a shaft of light rising.
Yeah, okay. So, the first time through is G for 5 beats, 5 counts, and then C for 2 beats. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. And then the second time, the second set of 7, it's 3 on G. 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2 on F, right? But he does a little triplet triad. And then another 2 beats on C. So, 4, 5, 6. It's tricky, but those sets of 2 for F and C, he does it with triads, and it's a little bit of a triplet feel. That ba da da, right? It's got a little bit of a shuffle to it. It's not an equal triplet, but it's got still got that reggae kind of 1-drop vibe. And then Jerry, over top of all of it, is doing this. Is doing this. No, I don't have that effect. But all this is your major third and your root of G, so G first inversion, and then you're going up to the next spot, which is basically a piece of A minor, and then a piece of B minor. So it's first inversion for all of these, right? So he starts with G, and then when it goes to C, same exact thing. He does a little piece of a C triad, also first inversion. Now again, it moves. This isn't gospel, but that's what you're hearing, okay? You're hearing outlining of the chords with the root and major third or minor third. The root and the third for each one of those. That is that, ba-da-ba-ba, that's that sound.
Show.
Yeah.
California. I've been knocking on
That piece of C there.
the golden door like an angel.
I love the keys coming up here too, where it rises each time and then they go back down. I'm really digging that.
Standing in a shaft of light, rising up to paradise. No, I'm gonna shine. My time coming any day. Don't worry about that. I felt this way, and I mean no. Won't be just like they say, them voices.
And let me just say this too. These keys couldn't really be much more different. Going from G mixolydian to just F sharp natural minor, those aren't from parallel modes. Those aren't from relative modes. This is like purposefully, we're in this world and then we're in this world. The connection is the groove in 7. But these are these are changes that are, I don't want to say uncommon or abnormal, but I don't think you just come up with stuff like this. I think you plan out the weirdness. Like, okay, let's do it in 7 and let's go to G mixolydian to F sharp Aeolian just because it sounds crazy and it works. I don't think it's more complicated than that, but it's like explaining it theory-wise, like it just is what it is.
Yes, I know I lead the way, and they'll tell me where I go. Don't worry about me. No, don't worry about me, no.
By the way, I love how Bobby sings so effortlessly over this 7. I mean, again, the whole phrase is like in 14, but it's like there is no even kind of looseness in the groove on his voice. Like he is totally 100% comfortable. I know he wrote the tune with Barlow, singing in this groove over 7. Very obscure and difficult to internalize. We're gonna get to Jerry's solo. I'm gonna let it play the whole way through before I go back and get any of the solo. But I gotta go through that ridiculous bridge, if you can call it that. I mean, that is very obscure and odd, and must have been thought up on purpose to be obscure and odd. That is hard to describe. Let's go through it. So it starts with, all of a sudden, now we're going to D minor. D minor to E major. The D walks down. It walks down, flat 7, 6, and then to E major here. So we're really moving keys now, because D minor could be in the key of C. It would be 2, and Dorian would make sense because he goes down and he hits that B, right? But then to E major, I mean, we're in a different world all of a sudden. You know what I mean? That is not. I mean, I guess you can kind of imply that, the F sharp was really a 2 before, and so we're still kind of in the same vein because we hit an E. But I don't even think it is important to even think like that. Now, check out where it goes after this. Keys are hard. So that's what's great, what's great here about Jerry and the boys in this section is that you get all of your triads outlined. So it's clear what's happening in here. You're not getting a crazy lead that connects all this. This is scripted. It is on purpose. Everybody's, subdividing all of their changes into triads. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? It is bizarre, but it's clear. So check it. So you got F, then to A major. So yeah, D minor, E major, F major, A major, right? Throw out the book. Just throw out the book. Nothing to see here, right? All you need to know is just keep track of your roots and thirds. That's it, right? So check it. Now, this build up here, it's still in 7. First chord is, you got to look at it in groups of 2, and I'll explain why. First chord is 3 beats, second one is 4 beats. So 3 on F, 1, 2, 3, then 4 on A, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's how you stay with 7. So now where do we go after A? 2 chord, B minor, to up a flat 3, to D minor. Okay? So D minor, E, F, A, D minor, D minor. But I'll show you how to think of this. Just remember the F and the A, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go from your starting chord up a minor third. Keep everything minor, and then walk that down a whole step at a time. So check it. They're gonna light my way. Light my way. They're gonna light my way. It's the craziest stuff ever. So look at it like this. B minor, up to D minor. Then A minor, up a minor third to C minor. G minor, up a minor third to B flat minor. You see where I'm getting at? So it's just, So your tonality goes from B minor to A minor to G minor. So down a whole step each time. But each one of those, go up 1.5 steps, a minor third, and play a minor chord. And go ba-da-da-da, that little fall off. Right? So it's like... Right? It's bizarre. And then it gets down to the end. And I gotta see if I remember this correctly, but I think it goes to a flat 6. So bizarre. These weird Barlow tunes will make your head spin. So once you get back down there, you're working down a whole step at a time. B minor, up a minor third. A minor, up a minor third. G minor, up a minor third. F major, and you would think it goes to this minor third. No, it goes to D flat major, and then the root goes up a half step to make it diminished, right? So it's like you're in this bad boy, and somehow, I'm assuming just because in this note happens to be a B and a D, so those are both in the key of G, somehow Jerry finds a way to make this connect and goes right to the major third of G, like a bright beacon of hope, you know? It's just like when it goes to California, right? And you hear that? It's almost like you see the sunshine, it's so bright. Coming in straight on the major third, the most important chord tone in this, right? Coming right on it. It's just like you were in this foggy haze, and all of a sudden it's just you're back on it. What a wild bridge. Okay, let's check out what Jerry does here. Yeah, you're hearing, this is what I love about Jerry. You're hearing melodic lines that connect chord tones to chord tones, but a commitment to traversing the fretboard in triads. If you guys haven't taken triads, if you haven't absorbed them in your life, right? Triads will set you free. They will change the whole game for you. If you're wondering what the bridge to connect rhythm and lead guitar, to get to the next level you're playing and to really understand this thing, it's triads. I'm telling you, it's triads. That's what opened the door for me. I have a whole course on it at my website. If you're interested, you can click the first link in the description. Just look for the triads courses. But that commitment to, coming in on the major third of G, and then when it goes to C, going right to the C, you hear that chord tone, like you hear it ring through. But then on the second part of the 7, where it does that, does that F to the C, you hear Jerry do that. Sorry. You hear him do that all over the place and connecting the melody lines with the triads. That is the skeleton. I'm telling you, that's the secret. There is no silver bullet, but if there was one, it's triads. And you can hear, especially in the earlier Jerry stuff, before he gets into like really, really super exploratory melodic lines, you hear him think kind of like a banjo player. You hear, like, because I know that's his background. Like, you really hear that in his playing. I'm going to go back and play the whole lead again, and I want you to just see if you can hear, It's always sets of 3. Ba 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 or ba ba ba, right? You can hear, whenever you hear those clusters, that's a triad. He's rolling through a triad, getting the changes. Listen for it. Yeah, that whoa, 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 whoa. Telling you, that's the real stuff right there.
Any day, don't worry. It's gonna be just like
Stand by. Let me restart my camera. Okay, we're back.
they say. Them horses do their soul. This afternoon, streets turn gray, and I watch the cars below. My time coming any day. Don't worry about nothing, no. And don't worry.
Love the reggae button.
Nah, no, don't worry about it, no. And I mean, no. Nah, 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 worry about it. Nah, nah, don't worry about it, no. And I mean, no. Nah, nah, don't worry. Nah, nah, nah. Nah, nah, nah,
I mean, come on. I think that may be even better than be better than Money. That might be the best groove in 7 I've ever heard. You know, because it's over a double bar, right? So it's over 14, and the looseness with which Jerry carries it. You know, sorry. Like, it's like it's a perfect line in 7. You don't even realize it's in an odd time until you sit there and try to figure it out, and you're like, whoa, what's going on here? The whole audience is doing this. And how many of them can actually count to 7, right? Like, or even play music. That's how you know you got a banger in an odd time, when it's just thick swimming in it. Bobby's reggae feel is great. You know, right? Dorian now? Remember we were talking before? Oh, maybe that's a 2 chord in E. You know, D sharpen. You were D flatting before. I mean, what is this? But it's just it's so cool, because I could never write something like this. Oh, I'd have to plan it out and be like, okay, what doesn't work and how do we make this work? Like this is so wild to me. like, what was that? It's almost like he's spelling out a piece of B major in there when he goes back. Like you hear this exploratory. I know I keep using that word. I just don't know another word to do it. This exploratory improv where you can tell he's just totally, going by ear up and down, just listening to himself play, right? But then he gets to a specific spot and just throws in little pieces of a chord, little pieces of the triad, just to kind of like pull your ear. And like if you try to make sense of it, like, oh yeah, that's he D sharped into B right there, and so I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's a piece of B major, but B major hasn't been anywhere in here, right? But it's just a little, you're just exploring down, like it just adds that little bit of, it's like brightness. It's like the sun just kind of peeking through for a second, and then it's right back to the dirge, the reggae dirge. It's just really cool. Bobby picking up and doing the call and response with some of the stuff Jerry's doing. Again, the audio on this recording is so superior than the vast majority of these live recordings that I've heard. I mean, you miss so much when you don't get a mix like this. I mean, this it just sounds so good. I feel like I'm actually hearing what all the instruments are doing and not just, a couple. Like, this is such a... I mean, I can see how people could listen to this album 100 times and get something new each time. It's one of those records. It's one of those bands, like one of those movies that you just watch. You could watch over and over again, and each time you see something, hear something you didn't before. It's one of those. What a wild track. I mean, so again, clearly I didn't pick this up out of thin air. I've listened to Estimated Prophet before, not this version, but so that's why I had a basic understanding of the chords and the tonality. But what a wild track. It's in 7, but it's really in 14, right? Here's your key takeaways, right? It's in 7, but the whole thing is really in 14. It's always in 2 groups of 7, whether it's the verse in F sharp minor or F sharp Dorian. I go out of tune, whatever. And then you have that line. I mean, yeah. I think that gives money a run for its money all day. Then when it goes to the chorus part, where it's G mixo now, so G to C and then G F to C. Again, it's broken into two parts: G for 5 beats, then C for 2, and then the next time around it's G for 3 beats and then 2 on F, 2 on C, but they're both broken down by triads. Then you have that crazy bridge, which goes to D minor, then to E major, right? I think it does each one of those 4 times. And then F to A, right? Abandon all the plans. Here we go. And then B minor, up a minor third to D minor. Then go down, move that whole structure down a whole step, A minor, up a minor third to C minor, right? And it's always 3 beats on the first chord, 4 beats on the second. That seems to be a trend. You got to get to 7 somehow. You can't have, maybe you could. That'd be fun. We should try to do that somehow. Then it goes down another major third, G minor to B flat minor, and then F to its flat 6, D flat. Bring the root up a half step, make it a full diminished, right? So it could be B diminished, D diminished, F diminished, or I guess that would be A flat diminished. And then you're right into the first lead, which of course is over G mixo, the same changes as the chorus. Third hunting. Again, third hunting big time, using your triad skeletons as a roadmap. So if you're here in G, what happened here? Oh my gosh. Check this out. What happened? Look at that, tuning on the fly. No edits. Anyway, using your triads as a roadmap. So here's your G, F, C, 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 right? G, F, C. Knowing all those spots where you can connect them, it's going to visually and audibly, but visually see how you can connect them with melodies. Learning your triads and listening to stuff like this, hearing a player like Jerry alternate between connecting chord changes with melodies and straight up outlining the chords with triads is going to show you how to really navigate, this neck and connect chords that probably shouldn't go together, right? This is such a wild thing. And then the second solo is straight up, the reggae dirge in F sharp minor, and he implies Dorian. He's very exploratory, and I love that is the Mutron or whatever. I love that sound. I need to get one of those. I know they're like $5,000 or something, but I've never really been one for gear, and I don't really like having pedals. I really want that. That is cool to me. And that's it, man. I just, it's a groove in 7. It's like one of the best grooves in 7 I've ever heard. Weird, wild, and killer. That's estimated profit. Cornell 77. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Remember, we have more Cornell 77 coming up. Remember to like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Drop links in the comments. Let's get to 200,000. We'll have another concert. Each one will be a totally different vibe. We'll do different songs. I'll play with a different band. We'll do another giveaway. And as always, if you'd like me to be your online guitar teacher, it would mean the world to me. It supports this channel. It's how I make a living. Click the first link in the description. You get all my courses, step by step, weekly lessons, and priority reaction requests. For just $10 a month, or you can save some money by doing annual or even now a new lifetime thing. So click the first link if that interests you. I'd really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.